The recent ceasefire between India and Pakistan marks a significant development in their tumultuous relationship. These two South Asian neighbors have been locked in a bitter conflict since their partition in 1947. At the heart of this dispute lies the contested region of Kashmir, a land of breathtaking beauty claimed by both nations. Over the decades, this territorial dispute has fueled three major wars and countless skirmishes, casting a long shadow over the Indian subcontinent. The partition itself was a bloody affair, marked by widespread violence and displacement. Millions of people were forced to flee their homes as communal tensions boiled over. This shared history of pain and bloodshed continues to shape the relationship between India and Pakistan even today. The scars of partition run deep, making it challenging to build trust and find common ground. Adding further complexity to the equation is the issue of terrorism. India has long accused Pakistan of harboring and supporting militant groups that carry out attacks on Indian soil. These accusations have been a major stumbling block in bilateral relations, often derailing peace talks and fueling further mistrust. Pakistan, for its part, denies these allegations and accuses India of human rights abuses in Kashmir. Despite numerous attempts at dialogue and reconciliation, the path to peace between India and Pakistan has been fraught with obstacles. The recent ceasefire, brokered by the United States, offers a glimmer of hope for a more peaceful future. However, given the long and troubled history of this conflict, it remains to be seen whether this fragile truce will hold. Tensions between India and Pakistan reached a boiling point in the weeks leading up to the ceasefire. A horrific act of violence, the Pahalgam massacre, shook the region and brought the two countries to the brink of war. On April 20, 2025, a group of terrorists opened fire on a bus carrying tourists in the scenic town of Pahalgam, Kashmir. This heinous attack, which claimed the lives of 20 innocent civilians, including children, sent shockwaves throughout India and the international community. India was quick to blame Pakistan for the attack, alleging that the terrorists had infiltrated Indian territory from Pakistan-administered Kashmir. The Indian government presented evidence linking the attackers to a known terrorist group operating from within Pakistan. Pakistan vehemently denied any involvement in the Pahalgam attack, calling the accusations baseless and provocative. However, the damage was done. The massacre ignited widespread outrage and calls for retaliation in India, putting immense pressure on the Indian government to respond forcefully. Prime Minister Modi, facing mounting public anger, vowed to make Pakistan pay a heavy price for its alleged complicity in the attack. In the aftermath of the Pahalgam massacre, the situation on the border escalated rapidly. Both sides exchanged artillery fire across the line of control, the de facto border dividing Kashmir. The risk of a full-blown war loomed large as tensions spiraled out of control. It was against this backdrop of escalating hostilities that the United States stepped in to mediate a ceasefire, recognizing the urgent need to prevent further bloodshed and avert a catastrophic conflict. As the specter of war loomed large, the international community scrambled to avert a disaster. The United States, recognizing the gravity of the situation, took on the role of mediator. U.S. President Trump, along with his Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Vice President Kamala Harris, engaged in intense diplomatic efforts, reaching out to both Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. After days of frantic negotiations, a breakthrough was achieved. On May 10, 2025, at 1700 IST, India and Pakistan announced a full and immediate ceasefire, bringing a halt to the escalating violence. The ceasefire agreement, brokered with the assistance of the United States, marked a significant step back from the brink of war. Key to this diplomatic success were the back-channel discussions facilitated by Saudi Arabia and Turkey. These regional players leveraged their relationships with both India and Pakistan to encourage dialogue and de-escalation. This vital behind-the-scenes diplomacy proved crucial in bridging the trust deficit and creating a more conducive environment for negotiations. The ceasefire agreement, while fragile, offered a glimmer of hope. It stipulated a complete cessation of hostilities along the line of control, including air, land, and sea operations. The agreement also included provisions for direct communication between the Directors General of Military Operations of both countries, to ensure adherence to the ceasefire. While the ceasefire brought a halt to the large-scale hostilities, India made it clear that the Pahalgam massacre would not go unanswered. Prior to the ceasefire, India launched retaliatory strikes against what it claimed were terrorist camps located in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. These strikes, codenamed Operation Sindoor, were intended to send a strong message to Pakistan that India would not tolerate cross-border terrorism. India's retaliatory actions were not limited to airstrikes. The Indian Air Force deployed fighter jets to intercept and down Pakistani drones and fighter jets that attempted to violate Indian airspace. The Indian Army also intensified its vigil along the line of control, using artillery fire to target Pakistani military positions. In addition to military measures, India also employed other tactics to pressure Pakistan. India temporarily opened the gates of the Baglihar Dam, located on the Chenab River in Indian-administered Kashmir. This strategic move resulted in a surge of water downstream, impacting Pakistan's water resources. These actions, while measured, underscored India's resolve to defend its interests and deter future attacks. India's message was clear: Pakistan would face consequences for supporting terrorist groups that target India.